this week I have my tea, but it's insanely warm, so I won't be touching that. But I'm very glad that you joined to this week's coffee chat, because this is a question that is in every single student's mind. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my experience as a student while having a job. Hi everyone, thank you for joining for this week's coffee chat. So from the moment I was in university, I've always had a job. And this is why I'm confident in making this video, because I know that how it feels to have a job while you are studying. And to make this video a little bit more interesting, I've decided that I'm gonna make a video of sharing the pros and cons of having a job while you're a student. So I'm gonna say something that is a benefit, but I'm gonna say why is also a disadvantage. And you can decide for yourself whether that disadvantage or whether that advantage is good for you. I studied bachelor degree and I had first a part-time job, 24 hours, and then I had a full-time job as part of my bachelor degree, which was a full-time job in another country. And now I'm studying master's and I have a part-time job. So since I was a university student, I had a job. All the jobs were internships, but I'm gonna get into this later. I'm just saying that this is more for people who are considering having an internship, but some points will be touching on if you have a normal job. So the very first thing that I want to share with you is that obviously you are going to have less time, which means that while you are a student without a job, you only have to study. But in a university, you study on class and outside of class, like in high school. So you're obviously gonna have less time for yourself, for your hobbies. What is a pro of this is that you're gonna learn time management. So I was never struggling with time management because I am a very organized person. But I know a lot of people who had a job and they were also studying, and they told me that they learned a lot how to juggle the two. I already have a video on how you can juggle your free time while you study in a very effective way. But the point of this is to see that you're gonna have less time for obvious reasons. Even if it's a 10-hour internship, okay, per week, you're still gonna have less time, but you're gonna develop such good time management skills that now at the moment I have a job, I study, I have 2 channels that I run, I go to the gym, I study Dutch in my free time, and I spend time with my boyfriend. And honestly, I still sleep 8 hours a day, and I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything because of my time management skills. So the cons is that you're gonna have less time, but the pros is that you can learn how to manage your time more efficiently. The second thing is that you're gonna earn money, right? So let's stay in the scope of internships. And let's stay in the scope of paid internships. Okay, I don't know where you're from. Most of the time, students want to take up an internship that pays. Whether if it's 300, 500, 1K, the money, it doesn't matter in this video, because the moment you decide you want to take an internship, you are going to be deciding what are your conditions. So on a pro, you have money, right? Because you're an intern. On the cons, it's not a lot, right? So of course, you're an intern. You're not a regular, normal employee. So when people say, I want to have a job besides my studies so I can travel, I have to be honest, if you're not like super lucky and score an internship of, I don't know, 2,000 euros, you cannot travel with that money. And we can start a discussion of what counts as a good money and what is a lot of money. It also depends on if you live alone, then of course you need to pay for rent, you need to pay for food. But if you live with your parents, then 300 a month is already a lot, because you can save that money all up. I'm just saying, don't go into this internship with a lot of hope that you're gonna be a millionaire in a month, because you make money, that's true. And I bought a lot of nice things from a very low paying internship, but it's not like if you were having a normal job. And a lot of people take up a job instead of going to university because that still pays more than if you were an intern. but I'm just saying it's nice money to have on the side, and it's nice if you can save up as much as possible, but don't go into the hope of becoming a millionaire. The third thing is that you're gonna get experience, right? But the cons are that this is very internship dependent. So most of the internships that you look for are relatively good because they give you a learning opportunity while you don't have to take a lot of responsibilities. And luckily, from all the 3 internships that I had, I learned a lot of experience. But I know some people, and I don't know if I'm the majority or if those people are the majority, but there are a lot of internships where you don't learn anything. And in that sense, don't get me wrong, it still looks very, very good on your CV that you did an internship for this company for this long at this role. But I had one internship where I learned so much that it was crazy. But it really depends on where do you go, what is the job, and who is your manager. And those are the things you don't know unless you're working there, because you don't know who your manager is when you read the job on LinkedIn, right? So you can learn a lot, don't get me wrong, but you also need to consider that there is a possibility you will not like it. And then experience is always good, don't get me wrong. Even if it's a bad job, you can still learn, stress, conflict, teamwork, time management. I'm just saying, if you go into the internship with high hopes that I'm gonna do one internship and then I can conquer the whole world, it doesn't work like that. The fourth thing is that you got a lot of connections. Your LinkedIn profile will grow. You will have colleagues that you might even stay friends with. The cons is that it depends on what you want to do, right? So I'm just gonna say a vague example. If I study business, right? And say I never worked in this internship. So everything I say here is hypothetical. But my goal is to work in finance, right? If I'm gonna do a internship in marketing, I make a lot of connections with marketing people, but not necessarily with finance people, right? So marketing people can also help you get into a finance role. But what would be the ideal if I want to work in finance, to make connections with financial, accounting, whatever people, and not necessarily marketing. Marketing is good if you want to work in sales, events, things like that. You get the gist, right? So making connections is always good because you never know. Maybe you go into marketing, you think you want to do finance, but this job was only available and you're gonna fall in love with marketing. Or you go into finance, you are happy because, oh my gosh, this has been my dream, and you realize you actually hate finance. It's very nice, but it really depends on what you want for your own future. And the last thing that I want to share is that as a con, you're gonna be insanely stressed. It's not necessarily because your job is hard, it's because you have to juggle 2 things. And it really depends on the type of internship you're gonna get. If it's, for example, always in the office, if it's hybrid, if your boss is nice, if your boss is not nice. It's very, very, very rewarding for your future. So I can always tell you, and I will always encourage you to take a job, to take an internship, at least an internship, because 1, it's always good money, even on the side. 2, is experience, right? You can always put that on your CV. Even if you think that the job is not good, even if you think that this is not what you want to do for the rest of your life, it's still something that you can put on your CV. It's still something that will give you connections. It's still something that you can learn from and make and gain experience. And the most important, you will get to know yourself. Is it for me? No. This is the only time while you're a student when you can choose different type of internships. Okay, you can work in finance, marketing, sales, HR, whatever. When you finish university and you want to start a job, you don't have time to change your job every second day, especially if you live alone. People will depend on you eventually, even if it's just yourself. So I would say take the leap and just jump into an internship, but keep your hopes realistic and consider that your studies are still the priority. If your studies are not doing well because of your internship, don't take it. If your studies are so hard that you spend 24/7 with them, do not take an internship. Because at the end of the day, your university is the one that gives you the diploma, that opens the door for the future. It's not the internship. The internship gives you experience, a little bit of money, and yeah, some skills. But with that internship, doors will not open unless you don't have that paper, depending on, of course, the field of area, the country you're in, but you get the gist. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys liked it. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to send me a message in a comment, and I will get back to you guys as soon as possible. If not, enjoy your coffee. See you next Sunday. Have an amazing week. Bye bye.